Hello. Hello. You'd be delighted to know that today's topic is graphite powder, and one of the reasons you'd be delighted to know is that there is a huge potential for disaster. So, I've had kind of one disaster already. I was out trimming rose bushes in the front garden, and I've just realised I've torn my t-shirt. I think I tore it doing that. I have all scratches at the other arm, so why I would have torn it on the left side, I don't know. Um, it was going over a neighbour's wall, and I trimmed off a whole load of branches and fell. I was balanced on the wall, fell off the wall into rose bushes. So if I can do that, uh, the potential for disaster with this stuff is enormous because it's so messy, this stuff. And I've only just opened the lid on it now because the other day I went to open it and I got this big poof of graphite powder. And you can see the brand name and everything there. Sorry, that noise is because I am leaving a couple of doors open, the route to the bathroom, in case I need to wash my hands quickly. Because if I even sneeze around this stuff, it'll go all over the place. It's a powder and it is so fine. I'll just show you. And it's a very dark, very fine graphite powder for drawing. So it's probably stuff you don't want to be breathing in, you wouldn't be sneezing, you don't want to be really near it. But I haven't used it yet because I'm saving it for you to try it out here. And so we're going to be doing that. I have a funny little thing, construction beside it, that I saw somebody else doing this thing and I thought that looks interesting. I'd like to try that way. But there's loads of ways of working with it. And I have reference material that, if you want to draw along or anything, you're very welcome to draw along. You don't really need um, graphite powder to do it. You can draw with anything, can't you? But, I like trying out new materials. So it's going to be exclusively graphite today. And I have graphite pencils, which I've used before. I have a video uploaded few weeks ago, I think it was, of me working away doing this little sketch out in the field. Went on an expedition to do that. But the place that I'm using the reference for today is a place I've been to a few times now. And the first time I went, um, it was just so magic there. It's a place I knew I wanted to go to it. I'd been there before, and I just think it's beautiful. But this particular day that I went, I was so glad because the lighting was just magical. And I went to sketch the place with another new thing I had gotten. I'm going to show you what it is. And I did a little shorts video upload of this, a liquid draw pen, which is a brush pen, which isn't really a brush, it's more of a felt tip pen. But I absolutely loved that. It has India ink in it. And I went to this special place and drew this group of trees there. So if you want to see this place, I suppose the way to do it if you were wanting to work along and use the reference material would be to swing open another tab for the link below this video. The first link that I put in is the main video that I'm referencing because it's the first day I went to this place to do this drawing. And that day I said to myself, I really want to go back. Well, actually, the idea kind of percolated in my mind, and I found myself going back a few days later. But it was just so beautiful the first day. There was light up at the top of the trees that was particularly beautiful, and I didn't get any of that in the sketch. So I said, no, I want to go back and I want to paint it. And funny enough, I'm now thinking of doing another painting of the same place, and I'm going to be drawing it today. So it had that strong a pull on me. And the last video I uploaded was of me painting this picture, which I have to handle very carefully. So I'm bound to get something, paint or graphite powder, something all over me today. But this painting, you can't really see it properly here because I'm in portrait layout for the drawing I want to do today. Um, I got nearly the full trees in, but this I still had an issue that isn't quite the right shape I want for the painting. And funny enough, um, when I came home, I realised I have canvases that don't mind those dinges, they'll come out when it's got another coat of primer on it. That is a longer shape, this canvas, so I might have another go at those trees again. But I wasn't unhappy with the painting, I have to say, because there was some stuff happening along the top whips of kind of paint happening that I thought were kind of interesting. There are some whips of paint that aren't really meant to be there. Because they happened in the transportation home. These whips weren't meant to be there, but going with the flow. So I'm still very excited about this scene, you see, so I could get more out of it. And so definitely I'm too excited to do any other work. So this drawing today is going to be interesting. So it's kind of going to be a tonal study of that scene. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is I have bought individual sheets of paper that are what I would call elephant cartridge. Now, I don't even really know what that means, but it's just traditionally what I've always heard it called. But these are basically very thick cartridge sheets, and I managed to get separate sheets. And I don't know which is the better side for drawing. Whether sometimes you find with these things the sides are different, but the sides are actually the same on this. So this is a longer kind of affair, and it's more of the shape that I want. And let's see how it relates to the painting. Yeah, it's actually exactly the same size. Oh, very, very slightly longer than the painting. It's only about an inch maybe longer than the painting. But if I could work out the composition right in this, I'll be able to get the same on a painting. So it'll also be nice to do a tonal study of that because your understanding of the scene is much better. But I did want to get like the top shapes of the trees and everything, and that can be a terrible challenge with some of the sketch pad sizes and paper sizes that you can get. So, it's one of those things sometimes for particular formats, you have to either make a canvas yourself or if you're working on paper, cut the paper to the right size. But I'm happy with my size, my paper. It is what you call an A3 size, but you won't see all of it in the shot. But I will try to keep the bit I'm working on in the shot. And when I came back from that painting expedition, I managed to get a tiny little chip out of my phone screen, which is very annoying. But hopefully it'll keep lasting. Here's the tag of the paper, just if you want to see The reason I'm using this paper with um, the graphite powder is that graphite powder, you can wet it and do all. I actually didn't get water, but I don't know if I'll be wetting it or not. But I want to do a lot of working of it first anyway. I might wet it towards the end. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. You see, this is experimental, but a thick paper allows you to really work something quite vigorously, you see, um, before the paper starts falling apart. So, and I wanted to start working a bit bigger and everything. And you notice that even the canvas that I'm talking about doing this on next, it's that bit bigger. Now, the canvas that I was working on out in situ, I really liked it because it's a board, but it was a lovely linen finish on it. And you can see that in the second video I linked to, which under this video, which also could be used as a reference for this if you wanted to work along. But I think personally that all the magic of the lighting and what made that day drawing so special is contained in the first video that I linked to underneath here. So that's the one I'm using for a reference. And I don't know if you'd get any of the magic if you hadn't been there yourself, you see. But I don't know. I was hoping to convey some of that on the video. So let's see what this stuff can do. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm just going to work fast and play with the materials, okay? So you get this kind of what I would call a little pounce bag that has some of this inside. And I've never used this before, so I don't know what it's going to do. See how fine the powder is? Ooh, see, I love that already. So it makes, when you drag, this is a cheesecloth. Um, when you drag it, it'll make little lines, and but it'll leave a lot of residue on your page as well. So I might just lay in the main tree shapes with that. And then we'll start working up, building things up. So I have the shorts video up, pulled up in a tab on my computer in front of me to work from. And so this tone that I'm putting down now, pretty gently, I have to say, because I don't want to breathe in this stuff, is a kind of a mid-tone. Other things that I have been researching ways of using this thing that I've looked up are brushes. You can use brushes with it. And I'm not very clear about whether brushes take it off or whether it can be taken off. So let's get the tissue. I'm not sure if you can take it off that way. You can take off a little bit of it, but it doesn't return back to the white. So if I'm wanting to take bits out, what I'm doing is I'm going to use, I find these a kneadable eraser. And this is a Faber-Castell one. And what I liked about this, it was very cheap, but it came in a little box. And I like that because these are kind of a slightly wet thing. And you want to keep them a little bit moist. And they also pick up hairs and dirt like mad. So the little box is quite nice for them. It seems like overkill, but it isn't. They don't always come in box. This one did. But you see how nice it is for being able to shape, and particularly when they're new like that. Wow, this is so nice compared to the one I had going, which I love. So if I want to take things back out, I can do that, you see. So I like that. And I can go thin with this, but you see the way the top is a bit bendy. I bought these. And these are coming in very handy as well for, you know, the kids' book that I'm doing, the Cozy Ant House. Um, these are good for erasing fine lines in the text that I'm putting in the book. But these are refillable erasers called Mono Zeros. And these are a very popular one. Tombow. I've never used them before. I made the mistake of getting two, but I suppose I'll probably lose one. And you can do fine erasing with them. And it's not bad. Just looking at it, yeah. It's not as good at taking the thing off, I don't think, as the kneadable rubber, but it can make smaller marks, which is quite nice. I did find with these that eraser head, um, it comes down very fast, and this bit is metal, and you have to watch that you don't scratch your paper when it wears out. Uh, but it just clicks up like that. And if you buy refillables, I should have probably bought a few refillable erasers to put in there. You just use it like a mechanical pencil, push it in, and this bit will pull out, and you'll put in the new eraser in that end there. So it might be worth, if you were thinking about investing in one of those, buying a refill pack for it as well, you know. So things you could use that would be useful with this: soft brushes for getting rid of residue and for blendiness. Other blendy things, blending sticks. And I had bought these as well recently, a little set of blending sticks. And blending sticks can be, I always have this craft knife out because blending sticks can be paired. You just pair the top of them like a pencil. But they're good for working in things. And a lot of those things are designed for helping keep your hands a little bit clean. But I don't expect that to come out, right? So let's play with this thing a little bit more and just see can we how we could sort of build up a little bit more. We can just use our fingers, you see, if we want. And that's nice. But what I was thinking about doing was a combo approach. And the combo approach was to use my pencils as well, my graphite pencils. And I have a HB, which is not very soft, and I have a 6B. So I'm gonna, if you don't mind, put on that musical track again and shut up for a minute and just draw to see can I get a bit further, because I want to get a bit lost in it. And I'll try and remember to keep moving the thing up and down so that you can see what I'm doing. But we'll have, a little bit of music for, I don't know how long the music on these things last. I think it's under 2 minutes. And then I'll come back and we'll see how I'm getting along. Because I'm trying to stay very loose for this one and work quickly. So where was the music I was playing? Let's see. Sorry, I have to go off to another screen to find it again. I don't want to dance pop. Where's the thing? Oh, yeah. Okay. Hopefully that's not too loud. And the links are underneath if you want to draw along. Okay, I don't see it going really black, so this is where pencils might make it blacker, but graphite isn't going to be as black as charcoal. I was going to get some liquid charcoal, but ooh, I don't know if I will. It's wildly expensive. Can I justify it, you see? So we're going to try with this, see how far we get, but it's a different thing. So I'm going to tops of the trees, make sure my scale is right. So I can actually draw with those, which is nice. And I have lots of different sizes of those, so if I didn't like this point, this wouldn't work out in the field. You can see, you know, it would be even messier than oil paints. All the tubes burst yesterday. Well, some of them did. Remember my vintage oil paints that I had? I don't know those marks. I don't know that they're right. There's a wonderful fluffiness in the leaves and the top that you have to get the ribbon right for. But they're in sort of groups. Yeah, that'd just blow all over the place, that powder. I brought this out, so this is an indoorsy experiment very much so. So, you see how you can get in there with detail with this stuff as well. So I think the combination of the two is really, but I like it. You can get this lovely depth of tone that's really very attractive. But I like the way you can make a soft line as well. I think you need fixative with this stuff now afterwards. But it's nice having the paper. You see, you're not getting too precious about a sketch pad or thinking you're going to ruin a page in a sketch pad, so you're freer about experimenting if it's just on a sheet of paper. So quite apart from the fact that that's why I got such thick paper. I mean, I'm not doing a lot of scrubbing at it at the moment, but I thought I might. I might yet. I'd probably be scrubbing back in for the sky. I think that's on a loop, that music. I can get rid of that track in a minute if it isn't mind. You know, music is very personal. Not everybody would like the same music. I get rid of it. I don't know those marks. There was lighting between this tree and the next tree. That was the really special bit. Lo-fi. Let's see what the lo-fi music is like. Don't know what this is going to be like. It's nothing so far. Doesn't exactly start smoothly, does it? Sorry, it's having a freak out with that as well. It's very loud. I can have loud or nothing. I'm gonna turn it on in a minute because I can't get my volume. Oh, it's getting my nerves. Stop. Go away, music. We don't want you anymore. Oh, it's a nice experiment. There's no really tasteful classical stuff there. You can add music, but I'm too lazy to upload them. And then if I upload classical stuff, it'll think it's some famous orchestra playing it, even if it's copyright free, and they'll claim it. They'll say, no, that's our music and you didn't credit us. And it doesn't matter if you argue, no, that's like, some kid's band up the road or a small quartet or something that uploaded it free. I've had that problem before. So this is giving the autumnal vibe at the moment, which I don't want. I want a lovely summery vibe, which has to do with the lighting and the way the lighting is hitting that tree. So I'm going in here to lift some of it. And get into the negative spaces. And there was a glow, kind of a bit of a glow in between some of the. I'm going to have to go in and do some drawing here first. I'm getting a kick out of the way the in fact, I'm going to use the HB. Prefer the HB, I think. I'm getting a kick out of the way the very dark line is sitting on that soft line of the powder. But I want to refine it as well, you see. So I can work back in to find the shapes of trees. So you could have quite a lot of fun with this. And up here in this section, that's what I want to do. Now I want to try and get the top of that tree, and even in the video I didn't really get the very, very top of it, but that's what I'm trying for. Obviously the little sort of pouncing bag isn't going to do it for these kinds of little marks. So it has to be something a bit stubbier. And I don't want to get into wetting that yet. I might in a while, but it's committing it to permanency, I think, from earlier experiments in my sketch pad. This one, which is graphite as well, I discovered that when I put water on it, you'll see it in the video of that. I forget the name of the video. I'm sure it probably has graphite somewhere in the title. But when I put the water on that, you couldn't then come along and rub any lines out. You are committed to it, you see. So I want to be able to keep rubbing out things I don't want in this for a while. But I will. Try and get things in the right place before I do anything with water. If I do anything with water at all, it might work without it. So every tree has its own rhythm, if you like. I'm sort of trying to get the rhythm of this, and I feel like I want to head back there again, because in every piece that I do, I'm getting something else about the trees. But no piece that I've done so far is perfect in its own right as a reference. So I don't know if they're going upwards or downwards. Hang on, I'm going to go back to my channel on the computer, and I'm going to look at the second video I linked to. So I'm using my own references here on videos, and it is the return. The sound off, so we should be okay. Now, I think I scanned upwards in that video at one point. Yeah, I could just about see the tops, but you see it was a darker day. So the lighting wasn't as good. There is a shot though at 21 seconds in where I can see the tops of the trees. You can't see the structure great though, I have to say. Looks like not a lot is going on. You're left with kind of, me not frantically working away for some of this live. But remember, a lot of painting is about looking. So that's what I'm doing, isn't it? I'm looking at the structure. And there was a lovely flowiness in the tops of some of these that I really want to capture. And where's my soft? And then it goes into another lot of trees, and I have just dropped my stove on the floor, so I'll look into that. So I'm going to slightly generalize about a few of these patches here, and then work some leaves around the edge. Because there's a trade-off between trying to work fast in order to stay loose and trying to get accuracy. And the thing about working fast, I found that with the painting yesterday, as I started getting really cold and tired, and it was nearly time to go home for tea, and the sun was going down and everything because you're outside. So there's all those limitations going on. I found that when I started doing things really, really quick, lashing at it towards the end, I thought I started painting a lot better. Suddenly it started getting exciting because you're making very exciting stabby marks, you see, and that can add a lot to a painting. Okay, so I want to establish some bits going on here. There's another big tree up here. And we get our little pouncy thing again. See, the pouncy thing is nice for a little mid-tone. And that sort of scrubbing effect would be very nice for skies and clouds, maybe, I think. But it does give you mid-tone, whereas your finger, worked around, gives you a lot. This is why I painted my nails black today. They were already filthy from the paint yesterday. Oh, the mess. it got very messy towards the end, as you get really into it, you see, it just gets messier and messier. And I arrived home and I had paint on my face and everything, and trying to film as well. I was getting paint on the phone. Great fun. Okay, so I might just do a little bit of sweeping of things away a bit. And you see, even when you're sweeping something away gently, you're getting a lot of residue left. But I'm trying to get that light coming through, and this graphite sticks all over this, so you have to keep changing things around. And of course, you can pull this apart and change what bits on the edge. They can be washed as well. You wash them and let them dry, so all that graphite can come off. But this might not be really totally for the faint-hearted or neat freaks because it's very messy. But messy is very good for freeing you up, and that's what I need. Okay, so get in there. This guy. Because that was part of the magic, the way the light was coming through. So I do feel that this medium might get it. That and oil painting, because oil painting gives you huge opportunities for capturing magic because there's just so many effects you can get with it. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. I like that. I mean, I haven't really got a kind of a style I always do trees in or anything because every type of tree you meet, it has different ways it behaves. Its leaves and branches behave, different patterns it makes. So trying to remove some of this, but not all of it, because that was the nature of the light. It was, you had kind of, well, I don't know what you would call the effect, lens flare or what, but most of the light was at this point coming through between these two trees, but it was bleeding out onto the trees as well. So, you know, that edge, say, of the tree was fading into that light. See, so there was that little bit of mistiness, but I've seen this effect before in a piece of footage that I took, and I cannot remember what video I took it from, but it was at night time, and somebody had lights, kind of orange lights at night on a foggy night, and it was the same kind of effect, and it just gave this really beautiful magic feel. Some of the light was coming down here, not huge amount, but some. And then in here we had bushes and things like that going on. So I'm liking this so far. It's definitely got loads of fun. So I want to keep moving across this. And there is a big tree on this side that in order to sketch it out, I'm going to have to get in there with this. It's also a gate. I want to see where it is in relation to the gate. I'm more concerned with the trees than actually the gate. The gate is just like a central accent. but not the whole story. The whole story is in the trees somewhere. And for me, the whole story isn't even this side tree particularly. So I'm going to keep all over here very dark. And we'll experiment with how dark can we go over on this side. And then in here, where's my 6B? Through the mail, you can get really quite a dark mark with that. That's quite nice. So I'm looking for the main tonal values in this of different areas, and you know what areas I think are kind of important areas tonally in the to hold it together as a composition. See how filthy everything touch gets. So that all has to be cleaned afterwards. I have to do this with most materials that I use. The had a big old cleaning of the wooden palette yesterday that I use. I'm not liking this eraser as much as I thought I would with it because the graphite just sticks to the top very quickly. And there is a thing you can do though for that. And I still have one of these going, so I don't need to open the one in my set. Those yolks are good for that, you see. It'll just take it off the top and it'll remove the graphite while it's doing it. No, it's not doing that effective a job. Not as good as this would do. This is manky already. So I'm going to shape this into a smaller shape. This just goes a little too soft for fine detail work for my liking sometimes. But I don't want to get into too fine a detail in this one, so that's good. It's holding me accountable. I want to think in terms of overall tones of areas, really. Oh, that's better. Look, why didn't I think of that earlier? You see, first time using materials, that works well for taking it off. Look, just that motion there, circular kind of motion. We like that. So yeah, I'm learning. I'm learning about my new materials. And I want to get more in here. I only have 10 minutes left, so I want to get in more in here where there's a darker section over here. So in this bit here. Oh well, hang on, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Maybe I should look at it on the day that was the magic day. Would you like the other picture back? That one. Yeah, that's a little bit different. Just a little bit of a difference in lighting can affect everything huge. So where did I put there? And I'm trying not to lean too much on the thing because look at the way your hands go. And I actually had a damp cloth at the ready in case things got too out of control as I worked, but I've managed to do over 45 minutes without having my hands so black that it's uncomfortable to work. I got to that point yesterday painting because I'd run out of white spirits for cleaning the brushes and mixing in as a medium, and my hands were getting manky because the rag was full of paint and the palette was full of paint as well. So sometimes that's what stops me rather even than, well, cold will always stop me because I'm just a wimp like that. I don't like the cold at all. Okay, so I'm going up here with this one. Again, I'm trying to stay nice and loose. Because look, you just get better things happening when you manage to stay loose, you see. Not convinced I have the hang of the leaves very well, but I am having fun with it. I like it as a medium. I'm liking it. I'm not going to enjoy the cleanup afterwards. It's all this, but if I don't have any horrible accidents before the lid goes back on that powdered graphite, we're golden. So the center of those leaf shapes is very dark, and then it goes kind of a more powdery on the outside. And I'll just remove some of the. This is why I have two drawing boards today, to contain that powder a bit. Okay. So the other bit of white. It's definitely got that spectral magic-y feel about it, hasn't it? It's a nice medium. I do like it. And the other thing I have ordered that's going to be very exciting and could be used in conjunction with this. Ooh, look at the way it makes branches. Isn't that nice? So you can make branches in the foreground that are very dark like that. You can make your midtones with the powder, and then you can make branches that are more mid-groundy kind of branches by using the eraser and coming up to the edge. This is drawing with negative spaces, you could call this. Okay, and it's a very effective way for finding edges of things. And you'll notice that I have sensitivity to edges is very important in drawing, and I have a particular edge that I wanted in this drawing that's a soft edge because of that type of lighting I was trying to get, and I think I'm starting to be able to get it. Need more foliage over here that's a bit harder, and we're moving from sort of harder shading over here to softer on this side. Okay. I would like to see what's going on over there. I'd like to go back and do. I know it seems like overkill, but you see, this is what I've got so far. I don't have up here in this drawing, so, and I don't really have it properly in the video. So I would like to go back, but some of it is you can fill in some of it with your imagination, but really to get the relationships between what's in the foreground, mid-ground, and distance, you're better off going back to the spot and drawing it again and again. Even if the lighting has changed a little bit, I think it's still better than just making up too much, because I'm not 100%, even looking at the painting here, which has some of it in, I'm not 100% sure what's happening in this area, not from my drawing. I think that tree bough goes up and there's ivy running down here, but in here, not sure. Not 100%. I don't, I can't see it clearly in myself. But I know that one of the things that was very nice about this scene was that the leaves in the very background were the darkest, but some of them were tipped by sunshine. So on the first day, the sun was over here. On the second day, when we was doing most of the painting, the sun was more here-ish. It moved, like obviously I was about 2 hours there, but we had like some little bright tips, bright green here, but this was a dark mass with little bits of white interrupting in the middle. That's spectacularly unsuccessful, that little brush. See, this is why you have to try things yourself. I've seen other people working with this medium very successfully with those, as call it a brush, it's not, it's an eraser. I've seen people working very successfully with those erasers, but it's not working for me. So I'm having to do it with this eraser. And then to get maybe it's just that there's graphite sticking on it. I do have two of those erasers. I can try the other one. See the little white bits coming through? We want those. Sky holes, I heard somebody call them recently, which is a new word on me, but it does describe them very well. Sorry, I keep having to change the direction of this because the graphite gets stuck to it and you need a fresh spot all the time. So you see how when I'm picking out the white, it's enlivening things a lot, isn't it? But in order to get the leaf shapes, I would have to then go back in and establish some of the leaves. So some of it has been fast to draw and some is slow part of the process. I think I'm getting a better feel for how the rhythm of the leaves is going though. So I'm liking that. So the most solid bits in these is towards the center. Little fly. At least it is still warm enough for flies. At least we got some summer. Very little here. But I've had those couple of days to go out and do that, which I'm very glad about. So it's very this way of drawing, it's very physical, you know, because you're literally having to sculpt the eraser and pick out bits. That's nice because you can go back if you've got something too dark, you can go back into an area, change your mind about the tone of the whole area. So I like that. It's a little kind of a flicking motion to remove some of this stuff. Might be getting a little bit too careful. And I'm trying to work in clumps of things. But those kind of bits, I want them blended. So I'm trying to make a few different kinds of marks. use more of that. So you get a general sort of a, swingy movement of the tree, which is nice. Got 2 minutes. Okay, I'm going to get the brush out just to show you, because I don't know myself what it does when you. I haven't used water with it yet, not having had a go at it yet myself. But if I can find a thing with water here, I think I've got a thing for my field kit that it has water in it. So I don't know what's going to happen. I hope I don't ruin it because I was just enjoying it there. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of the powder and work into it with the powder. Oh yeah, that's nice. We like that. But this is a more permanent kind of a thing. I did this earlier. Maybe I get a piece of paper here. See what I mean? It's dark and it's permanent. That's not going to be able to be erased. So that's why I wanted to have so much work done before I got into that. But it's definitely nice, and it's going to add a lot more different qualities of marks to the things that then we had going with all these soft marks. So I like that. And what I'm going to do is the usual thing of working more on it. And then I'll post it on the community tab when I'm finished. And you can decide whether you think this looks like an interesting medium or not, or whether it was a successful medium to use. But I think some of the quality of the types of shapes it makes and the beauty of the tones, really, because they're lovely. You can get lovely subtleties of tone. This is why although I wanted to work very loose, I keep wanting to slow down for certain bits because I'm able to get that lovely, beautiful lighting effect, but I'm able to go in there and work with my graphite pencil to get really detail, and it just adds more depth to the thing. So I like it very much. And then this thing of being able to come along and do, I could go quite dark with that if I wanted to. See what I mean? Isn't that nice? I like that. Yeah, I'm going to keep working away with that, see what happens. And it's a nice medium. I do like it. Yeah, I hope you got oh, I didn't mean to drop that in there. I hope you got something interesting out of that. I'm not going to make the whole thing too wet before I get more of my blendy bits in. But I like very much what it can do, and that was a good purchase. It wasn't wildly cheap, but wasn't a bad purchase at all. The paper, if you want to check out that paper was very good value, and it's very nice paper. There's the graphite thing, and the other thing that I'm getting that I will be testing as well, but it's not due until the beginning of September to arrive. So it'll be a week or two arriving. Is a tin with graphite in it, but it's watercolor graphite. So it comes as a little, I don't know whether it's kind of that size tin or even a little bit smaller, maybe. It comes as a block in the tin that you can use a brush with. And I think that'd be very nice for using out in the field. You're obviously not going to be able to bring this out on plein air expeditions, but the other thing could be a great addition to my little kit. So I'm looking forward to that arriving, and I'll test them both out. And I think that they would both work together very well. So this has been most enjoyable, I must say. I'm really enjoying that media. Okay, I'm going to leave it because I'm going over by a few minutes. I'm going to finish this and then I will post it up on the community tab when I'm finished. After I wash my hands and all that. I was trying to get out of the studio without leaving dirt all over every button that I touch. Thank you very much for joining me, and see you soon.